Morning YouTube, it's another morning video. I'm on a roll. I wish I had better news to report about the Leafs game against the Rangers last night in New York, but they didn't come away with 2 points. The bright side, though, is that they blew the doors off the Rangers in every sense except for the final score. They came out, you'd think playing the night before in Montreal, that it might take them a while to catch up in the New York game, but they came out flying. Despite that, just like the Montreal game, the opposition got on the board first very quickly. Zibanejad scored for the Rangers about half a minute in, and it looked like it was going to be another track meet. But as the period rolled on, it was just apparent that the Leafs were just on, and which is an encouraging trend because they've been building towards that over the last number of games. But it was just unbelievable. They just blew the doors right off the Rangers. They outshot them 20 something to like 8 or 12 in the first period. Like, it was just like the Rangers couldn't stop them, other than the goalie. And it wasn't Lundqvist too. It was the backup, some Georgiev guy, who stood on his head the whole game. Halfway through the first, the Leafs did tie. They drew even. Kapanen anticipated a D-to-D pass at his own blue line, and then took off, and then just fired one, posted in on the far side, blocker side on the goalie. But that was the only goal they got. The Rangers added another one later in the first, and then two more in the third. And but all along it was mostly Toronto. They were skating hard. They were generating tons of chances, and it looked like early on that I called Kadri scoring a goal because his line in general, but him specifically, just like, you know, when guys are having a good night, they're just all around the puck, and you can tell they're skating with energy and purpose. And he was getting a little bit physical here and there, and it just looked like it was going to be his night. And I think he would have scored too if it wasn't for that stupid goalie. But yeah, in the power play too, the Leafs power play, it was funny. They showed a clip from the night before in Montreal about Babcock and one of the assistants getting in what looked like a heated argument on the bench, and they talked about it during the Rangers game. And the other guy was Jim Hiller, the assistant coach who runs the power play, and it's been very documented how the Leafs power play at the start of the season was running at 41%, something like that, a ridiculous clip, and then ever since then has pretty much just gone stagnant. And they were just doing the same predictable things over and over again, and not meeting with much success. So they were kind of wondering if that was what was going on. Babcock was maybe pushing for some changes and stuff like that. But another encouraging sign during the Rangers game is that they did change things up. They still had the same setup and stuff, but they didn't make the same predictable attempts over and over again and try to force it. They were moving the puck quickly, and they were doing a few different things, unpredictable things, in and amongst kind of their set routine plays, and it really threw the Rangers. They had 6 shots or something like that alone on the first power play, which I bet if you went back over their last 6 power plays total before that, they wouldn't have had 6 shots. So everything was kind of trending up, other than they ran into a hot goalie. That's all it was a matter of. In the end, they ended up out cheating the Rangers like 56-30. The Rangers had to block 18 shots. The Leafs were just all over them. So it's one of those games where, you know what, at least it wasn't a team really chasing them like the Bruins or the Habs. And although they missed out on the 2 points, you take a game like that and it's everything positive. Just it's like if they play like that most nights the rest of the season, they're going to win way more than they lose. So everything is trending in the right direction. Sparks got the start because it was back to back, and it's funny with him. I think he played okay last night. Like, some of the goals were like it didn't appear as if there was nothing much he could have done about, but you wonder if Anderson, because Sparks is a little more of an active goalie in the net, and he kind of and that's all an experience thing, I think, but he's a little more, moves around a lot more, whereas Freddie, he has that economy of movement, which just he's in the right place at the right time, and he doesn't overcommit, and I think you never know if Freddie was in the net. Some of those pucks that Sparks didn't have a chance on, they may have just hit Anderson by accident, right? Like, just because he was in the right spot. It's hard to say, but yeah, I just never know how to judge Sparks' performance until I see more of him, and see what kind of a goalie he is, and if he can win some games and make some big saves. But yeah, no matter even during most of his wins, he still lets in quite a few goals. So that's the thing I'm just not sure about him yet. So, but either way, the team had a fantastic game, and you take the positives out of it, and hopefully they can use that momentum to turn their next game into a victory. And until then, have a great week.